first of all, an email from Wicklow County Council. 11 new housing projects to follow government funding. Wicklow County Council has welcomed the news of formal departmental approval of Stage 1 funding for a lot of money to progress 11 new housing construction projects across the county. So let's find out about these. And first of all, we go to John Snell of Sinn Féin, who's on the Housing Committee for Wicklow County Council. Good morning, John.
Good morning, Declan.
Good morning to you. So give us the backstory to this then.
Yeah, it's good news. The department announced there on Monday in regards to funding for 11 projects, as you said there, to a cost of over 16.6 million. There's a good geographical spread to it, Declan, in regards to, there's 37 units in Wicklow Road in Arklow, 20 units in Sugarloaf and Kilmechanic, 15 in Farrankelly, 7 in Wicklow Town. You've another 4 in Bray and Kilmatton Place and O'Byrne Road, 4 and 1, that's 5 units. 2, a lot of these are infill as well, Declan. Chapel Lane and Ockram, 2 units. And then another 4 units between Ardnamara and Druids Brook in Kilcool, 2 units each. So it brings it to 97 units, and obviously everyone is excited, and hopefully we can get going on this as quick as possible and draw down the funding and get these units out and ready for people to move into. But as you know, while everyone would welcome it, the reality is that, there'll be nobody turning a key in a door for at least a year and a half minimum. But at the same time, I haven't met anyone that was, disappointed or otherwise. It's a start, and it's a welcome start in regards to Wicklow County Council. They've been waiting on news like this for a while. And
what's the story with where these are going to be built? Are they brownfield sites, or are they new sites, or where have they been found? Well,
some of them are, shovel-ready sites in regards to greenfield sites. But there is some, such as the one in Wicklow Town, is the site for that is on the old FCA hall, which will be contentious because obviously it's an old building dating back to the early 1900s. I think it was built around 1920s or 30s. And the same, there's the old library in Arklow. There's 7 units for the old library in Arklow. And again, this is lands that Wicklow County Council owned, and they went to the department seeking funding to see would they support the building of houses on these sites or cooperate them into what's existing there. And as I say, they've been given the green light, but the vast majority are not. They're actually just greenfield sites, and as I say, there is infill. So in regards to Druids Brook and Ardnamara and Kilcool, Chapel Lane and Ockram, these will be infills,
Yeah, and the Rathdrum one, 20 units, that could, look to be pretty good.
Yeah, and again, this is in conjunction with, we've had announcements in the past in regards to, 42 units for Muffy's Land and Bray, breweries, Bend in Rathdrum, 20 units. And it's all positive, and you're just waiting for, to see the machinery going in and getting started on it, because really that's what people want. They want to see that there's a bit of hope for the 3,500 people who are on the housing list. And that's all in conjunction with, last year Wicklow County Council, in conjunction with the Department of Environment, were able to go out and acquire the purchasing of housing, and they bought over 26 houses. This year they've already bought more than that, and they did buy some projects like in Blessing, and they were able to buy a block of 4, and the same in Rathnew here. Quite recently they bought a block of 4. But I find that, it's going to take a concerted effort by everybody, even in the private rented sector, the rental accommodation schemes, and more so on the approved housing bodies.
Yeah.
We're really dependent on them as well in conjunction with the local authority. My preferred option has always been that the council will build their own social houses. But look, at this moment in time, it seems to be the format that approved housing bodies, the voluntary housing sector, can get money quicker and are able to make things happen quicker than the local authority. They don't seem to be able to
get at least a small number of people anyway into those houses. Hang on the line there, John Snell, who's chair of the Housing and Corporate Estate Strategic Policy Committee. Let's turn to Deputy Pat Casey of Fianna Fáil, and Pat is junior spokesperson on urban renewal and housing. Pat, good morning.
Good morning, Declan, and good morning to John as well.
Good morning.
Pat.
So it's a drop in the ocean anyway, but I suppose you're welcoming it nonetheless.
Oh, listen, we cannot not welcome the potential of 97 houses over 11 projects and an investment of 17 million. It has to be welcomed. But I think it has to be welcomed with a cautious reminder to people not to be getting too excited. And John has outlined, the chances of delivering these houses will be a year and a half away, and maybe even a lot longer, because part of the problem I have found since I've gone up to national level is that, and I was saying it to Joe Lane, the director in there in relation to housing, there's a blame game going on between both the department and the local authority. And regretfully, this is approval of the stage 1 process. And that has taken probably, and John would know more accurately, probably in excess of 6 months to get through that approval stage. We have 3 more stages to get through before we go to tender. And that's before we build anything. So, it's welcomed. It's a move in the right direction. I don't want people getting excited out there that we're going to have 97 houses here in a year and a half. That is unlikely. As part of the process of rebuilding Ireland, we've been asked to make submissions to the department in relation to where we see changes being made. And one thing that I put forward to, and is trying to remove the blame from both the department and the local authority, is that each stage of approval has a timeline on it. And that timeline must be stuck to. So the department must make its decision. So the local authority knows exactly where to stand. Because in fairness to John and Joe, who have ramped up the resources, invested in architects and quantity surveyors to get these projects up and running, are now sitting there waiting to do more work. But because the department's delaying the process, they're sitting there now doing nothing. And listen, I welcome it. It's a move in the right direction. I equally would like to see changes at department level where they take responsibility, enforce timelines on each of their approval stages, timelines that must be adhered to.
Well, we wouldn't expect, we don't want to just somebody identifies a bit of land and just builds houses and people move in and then there's some problems come up later on.
And that's not what I'm saying.
But at the same time, why is all these different processes take place? All these potential blockages? Is there nothing we can do about that?
Well, some of them, in fact, I think there's complete duplicity of it. The department actually oversees what I believe we're paying, the state is paying, or the people are paying, Wicklow County Council to do. And they're overlooking their work, like the type of houses, the people on the housing list, they're overseeing that as well. What are we paying a chief executive? What are we paying a director of services if they're not even going to take responsibility for even that section of the decision? But if we at least had timelines, be they 1 month, 2 months or 3 months on each approval stage, everybody would know exactly where to stand. But at the moment, we've been approved on approval on stage 1. We don't know when approval on stage 2 will take place. It could take 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, a year.
Is this not part of what Simon Coveney should be looking at then?
Simon has come with this 4-stage approval, which was an 8-stage approval, but there is no timelines on it. And that's what I'm saying. The department now has to engage in a timeline process where they have to make a decision and move forward instead of just stalling, because nobody knows where to stand in that process.
Well, let me go back to John Snell. What do you make of what Pat is saying there, John?
Yeah, again, Declan, I concur with what Pat's saying there. The whole process, yes, we need guidance and we need to make sure that we're getting the process right, and I can understand. But I did welcome, in regards to the Minister, reducing the red tape to a certain degree from the 8-stage process to a 4-stage. But, unfortunately, without a time scale, like we have the staff from Wicklow County Council who have put in a huge amount of work, not just on these projects, there is other projects as well, which they've been working on, and have sent to the department looking for funding as well. And that's an ongoing, you always have to be keeping ahead of the department, because as Pat said, you end up in a situation where it's a blame game, and that's no use to nobody, and that's why I will be looking for a 5 TDs, and we will be sitting down in conjunction with the Cllr, Pat Fitzgerald, with the 5 TDs, to try and push these projects forward for the good of all the people of County Wicklow. Another thing, Declan, which, in regards to Part 5s with new housing estates, and people will be familiar from looking at the papers, and they'll see that new applications are going in quite regular now. Wicklow County Council will be seeking the 10% of all new builds in Wicklow County Council, as opposed to what would have happened in bygone years, where developers would give land or financial contribution in regards to getting out of Part 5. And it's important now, and it is happening, that, in Wicklow County Council, they will be seeking their 10% of all new builds. And I think that's...
So if somebody is building a new housing estate, some developer, 10% has to go back to the council, basically.
Yeah, and I think that's a very positive move. I think that it's hugely important, and it's something that probably should have happened in the past. But unfortunately, we can't keep, going over or rehashing what happened in the past. We all know there was mistakes made. And I feel, for the good of people on the housing list, a lot of new estates, you will have a certain amount of people, like in the past, they purchased to rent out them units. But what we want now is we want our 10% for people who are sitting on the local authority housing.
Okay, fair enough. But these houses, anyway, that have been announced, they won't be for a while. There's a bit of a process going through, but at least the chain has started. Anyway, that's what you're saying. Let me just finish with Pat Casey there. Pat, John was saying, an effort, a combined effort from the county between Pat Fitzgerald, Cllr, John, other councillors, and the 5 TDs to... try and alleviate some of the housing list that we've got here in County Wicklow.
Yeah, man, listen, I have no problem. I work with John at local level, and I have no problem working with him here now, and we have met on occasions and discussed the housing crisis in the council on a number of occasions. I'm there to do whatever I can. I just honestly spoke on the radio this morning what I believe is a situation that needs to be addressed, not just in the housing section or the department, but in all public department sections. I think every process must have a timeline, and that decision must be made at the end of that timeline, so everybody knows where they are. Like, it's interesting, the one here beside me, the old library site here in Arklow, beside my office here in Arklow, which has 7 units on it, that was passed through emergency planning process under Part 8. Now, 6 months later, we're at approval stage. By the time they're built, it's probably 2.5 years down the road. How is that an emergency planning process?
Yeah. Okay, got the point. All right, Pat Casey, thanks very much indeed. Junior spokesperson on urban renewal and housing for Fianna Fáil. And also John Snell there from Sinn Féin, who is the chair of the Housing and Corporate Estate Strategic Policy Committee. And we were talking about the 11 new housing projects which have been approved for funding from the government. But as the lads are saying there, a long way to go yet with all red tape and things. Oh, wait.